we have some extremely disturbing and sad news coming out of Japan. 2 pro boxers have passed away on the same fight card, the same night. Oh my gosh. That, I mean, oh, rest in peace for both those guys. But I know there are many people out there who go, ooh, what are the risks involved in fight sports? Many parents out there who go, I don't want my kids to fight. That's not happening with my kids. It's far too dangerous. And when we start hearing about people passing away, even though it's very, very infrequent, it raises questions. And I want to talk about this today so you understand the risks associated with the sport, but also can still go in and train. Before we get to my personal opinions on everything, we're going to go downstairs, we're going to look at the computer, and I'm going to read you all the information which I just saw. All right, 2 boxing stars, both 28 years old, die from brain injury sustained at same event. The matches took place August 2nd in Tokyo at Korakuen Hall. So let's see, what do we need to know? 2 boxers, I'm not going to try and pronounce their name, but I'll be sure to put some images up so you can see them. Died within days of each other. Same event, but didn't pass away immediately, obviously. They were separate fights. It was reported that one of the fighters had undergone emergency brain surgery following his fight. One of the fighters had been rushed for emergency for a subdural hematoma, a type of bleeding between the skull and the brain following his fight. The other fighter also needed brain surgery following his fight. Brain surgery, holy smokes. Got up. I mean, oh geez, I don't even want to say the wrong thing here. I was just going to say, the Japanese have this warrior spirit, like just full-on warrior spirit, where I have seen them get knocked down, they get back up and they just go for it. They get knocked down again, they get back up, they go for it. A lot of people hated on Floyd Mayweather and people like that because they weren't as exciting in their career, but man, like they say, it's about not getting hit. WBO stated the heartbreaking news comes just days after the passing of Kotari, who died of injuries suffered in his fight on the same card. They extend their deepest condolences to the family, friends, and the Japanese boxing community during this incredibly difficult time. Following the deaths, all Oriental and Pacific Boxing Federation title bouts will now be 10 rounds instead of 12. So that's interesting. I wonder if they both fought to the conclusion of the fight. They went the whole distance as opposed to getting knocked out, because those long fights, when you're just battling, those long fights can be crazy hard on the head. So tragic, absolutely tragic. Let's head back upstairs and let's talk about this further. So what do we do with that information? I mean, that's scary stuff, because very often I go into the ring and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I don't want to lose because I've trained so hard for this, or I don't want to get embarrassed. You have that ego, I don't want to get embarrassed in front of people. Or yeah, maybe I don't want to leave with bruised shins or something like that. Like that's the extent of my thought process. It's never step in the ring and something fatal might happen. Now, man, it's so sad. And man, the poor families as well. So people ask me sometimes, Gabriel, would you want your kids to fight? And I go, when I have kids, no, I probably won't want them to fight. I will absolutely want them to learn martial arts for confidence and to defend themselves, but actually compete? No, I'll be like, man, go find another sport. Go play tennis or something. So with this information, what should we be looking at? Well, first of all, it's very, very unlikely that this is something that is going to happen to you or anybody you know. Very, very unlikely. But we need to recognize that damage to the brain is a very real thing, and while it does not always lead to somebody passing away, it can have very detrimental effects throughout the span of your life, in particular as you start to age, as I understand. But I get messages very often on Instagram, people saying, oh, Gabriel, I was at sparring last night and my head's still hurting, or something like, Gabriel, I sparred last week, I got kneed in the face and I'm still having trouble being in bright light. And they're asking my opinion. I'm always going, oh man, geez, I mean, first of all, I've been so fortunate that I've never had anything like that, so I can't really relate. But second of all, please go and talk to a doctor, because this is not my area of expertise at all. And if something like that ever were to happen to me, or when I do end up giving any subsequent advice, it's always stop sparring. Like, not forever, but stop sparring until you feel better. And does this need to be something that you go, okay, I'm not sparring anymore. I'm done sparring. It's too much of a risk. I never want to fight. I think that's a bit extreme, because when we look at how many people fight weekly, how many sparring rounds are done every day throughout the world, we're more or less very safe. But we need to be smart. So how can we be smart? Well, the very first thing is up your skill set, right? When your skills are higher, you have less likelihood of getting clipped with big shots. And while many people go to the gym and they focus on hitting, right? Offense, 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 that's great. But that's just part of the whole scope of fight sports. And that's why I preach defense. That's why thousands of people have taken my defense course. 6 days from now, we're launching Strike Ready Movement, where we're going to be focusing on how to take angles, how to get better at balance and range, and utilize footwork so you do get hit less. Like, these are the types of things that you really want to take advantage of. And when you are at the gym, you want to be training those so you can protect yourself, right? It's like anything dangerous in life. If you're going to go and do something dangerous, prep up accordingly, especially if you guys are thinking of fighting. If you're thinking of fighting, you take it dead serious. Like, it blows my mind, people who step in the ring or the cage and they're like, yeah, I didn't train hard enough. I'm going, what the heck? Like, I'm more thinking from the standpoint that I don't want to lose the fight. That's embarrassing. But in terms of damage, like, seriously, you're going to step in there unprepared? Wild. But if we're thinking about what can we do, we're so dead set on we want to train for the next 10 years, or we want to train and fight, but now we're a little bit scared. What can we do to mitigate the risk? Well, I already mentioned, focus footwork, focus on defense, take my courses, do your neck conditioning, your neck strengthening, so your head's not getting jostled around every time you just get touched lightly, right? I have those videos on my channel already, along with many others, which will help you with your footwork and your defense. But outside of that, make sure that you are being very smart about your sparring volume and your sparring intensity. Now, I will be the first to say that yes, there are times where you have to push the pace, where you have to get in there and do some hard sparring, but does it need to be to the point when we say hard sparring that you're trying to knock the person out? No, absolutely not. And you should be sparring with people who recognize, or yourself even, if you hit somebody and their head snaps back and you know you can land that big left hook as a follow-up, boom, boom, you know it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You know you can do it. What's the point in following up? And that's what people should be doing for you, right? They're pulling the shots. Even if they're hitting you 30% instead of 80%, they're pulling those shots. That is smart. Now, in terms of how much should you spar, maybe I'm not a good example anymore because I don't train the whole year like I'm ready for a fight at any moment. I get notice that I have a fight. I usually ask for 10 weeks and I go, okay, now I'm starting my sparring. But outside of that, I spar very rarely, and I only fight twice a year. So maybe I'm sparring 16 to 18 weeks of the year. The rest of it, no, I'm saving my brain. Unless somebody wants to play super light, like they want to play just... Yeah, then for sure, I'm down for that. Absolutely, but it doesn't happen very often because there's not too many people around who can give me a skill set at that pace, which is challenging enough. So we're looking to be smart with our sparring. And it does not need to be like you're doing what I do, where you only spar when you're in training camp, but you need to recognize that the intensity where people are trying to knock each other down, or the intensity where people are living with headaches, that's not needed all year long. You can do your hard sparring for 4 or 5 weeks before the fight and then tone it back down. Spar with those people who are going to protect you if you make a mistake. Find people who can pull headshots. 30, 40% power here, 70, 80, 90% power down here. That is going to save you. And it's going to be spectacular for you when you step in the ring and you know, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't get concussed already during this fight camp, right? Everything is cumulative. It's not, oh, I got, smashed a month ago and I recovered and now I'm back to completely untouched, right? Forget about that. It was a month ago. No. Think about damage throughout the duration, add it all together, and as I understand, that is more or less what's going to happen to your brain throughout the year, decade, multiple decades that you train. So it's always about being smart. And that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys about today. And it's very sad news, but I wanted everybody on the channel to understand the risks associated with this sport. Bear in mind, bad things can happen as soon as you walk out the door, right? You could walk out the door and be walking down the street and a car doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Doesn't stop for you. You have to always be aware, right? So some people are saying like, oh, fight sports are so dangerous. No, you prepare appropriately. You train properly. You find the right people. All of that matters so that you can do something you love, but still stay safe. That's what I'm preaching today, guys. Thanks for joining.